Hello, Dallas. Welcome. Welcome to Portland. See, I have you here in I'm in the chapel of our community. So I now have Dallas here with me and I'm there with you. So thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here. I was really bummed when we couldn't do it last time, and I thought it was going to be months and months before we were able to get connected, but here I am. My name is Lorna Knox. I'm a member here of Ananda Portland. I have been forever. I haven't lived in other communities. I have visited the other colonies and been connected with Ananda for over 40 years now. But this is my Sangha, and this is where I've been since we were a little tiny meditation group meeting in people's homes, and then got to the point where we have a center, we have a physical location like you guys do, we have a temple, and we have a community, an apartment complex, which is where I am this morning. And it's just a joy to be with you guys. I feel connected to Dallas. For years, I helped out with the website. We were before Zoom and all of this, we were connected online through our online presence. And it's just always feels like a part of my family. So thank you very much.
Hello, everyone.
So this morning, there's always so much to talk about. Oh my gosh, masters, you were saying you had, a lot going on. Well, it's just always true of Ananda. There are so many different layers to these teachings that we're working on all the time. And when you dive into any of these topics that Swami gave us for Sunday service, it just opens up this, it's like a treasure chest of all kinds of things that you can meditate on for years. And this idea of soul receptivity, in the reading, it's entitled, The Importance of Soul Receptivity. In the book that is the expanded version, the title was How to Attain the Highest Wisdom. And then the subtitle was The Importance of Soul Receptivity. It's a huge piece of our path of being receptive to the guru. That's the focus. But even if you're not a disciple, you haven't taken discipleship vows, you don't feel like you have a guru yet, the receptivity is still critical, because that's what will draw the guru. That's what will draw the help that we need in order to progress on the path, is being receptive. And that means all kinds of things. Everything actually that we do, tithing and giving, the activities we take part in, the seva that we do, the meditation, of course, the chanting, the singing, these big events that we have. She was talking about going to Inner Renewal Week, the big events, things that we put on. Ananda Portland just had a dinner last night. We are also in the tithing mode, the beginning of the year, and looking at that. And we had a dinner last night for our donors, and it was all about gratitude. And everything that we do is to open up our receptivity, our connection with the guru, with God, and with the guru. That's what it comes down to. Absolutely everything, all of our practices. And joyfully, and just there's so much fun involved, and so much, the satsang and the connection that we have with one another is it's all wonderful. And it's all to open up the channel between the guru and us, so that we can receive what he wants to give us, what God is wanting to give us all the time. And to open our hearts and to receive is just, it's absolutely essential. Today's Super Bowl Sunday. So there may be people who are looking forward to that, or, there may be parties going on. There are parties going on all over the place for Super Bowl Sunday. So it seemed appropriate to have a football metaphor in today's talk. But what I thought of was the receiver, is this word receive. And I know almost nothing about football, nothing. But I do know the receiver's job is to catch the ball. it's it's pretty basic, right? I know Mayatri knows a whole lot more about football than I do. But I know that their job is to receive. It's a big part of the game. Where's the ball? Who's got the ball? And the receiver's job is to be in the right spot all the time when that ball comes to them and to receive it. And then, then it's a mystery to me what it is they do after that. But receiving is what their job is. And as disciples, particularly, that's what our job is to receive what God wants to give us. Christ even said that will give us the power to become the sons of God, meaning the power to become what he is, what all of the avatars are, which is completely in tune with the divine grace and the divine presence. That's what will get us there, is receiving. And it's a good word to focus on and say, how receptive am I? Am I being receptive? In fact, when I was working yesterday, when I was doing some reading and looking things up, I found a quote, which always happens. I found a quote from Master, which just sort of stopped me in my tracks. And what he said is, all experiences are measured in terms of the cup of our receptivity. I will quicken my evolution by consciously condensing all my experiences by the power of concentration. This is one of his affirmations from one of his lessons. So we've heard, even people who are newer on the path have probably heard the expression that he used, which is using the cup and comparing the cup and the ocean. How can the cup hold the whole ocean? A little cup can only hold what a little cup will hold. And the ocean of awareness, the ocean of God's presence, the ocean of grace is what is trying to come into that cup. But until we expand our cup, we can only receive so much. And even a little bit is very, very helpful. So to receive as fully as we can, even if our cup is pretty small, is a good thing, because that's what will help it expand. But he talks about the cup of awareness. And in this quote, he says, all experiences are measured in terms of the cup of our receptivity. So what I've been meditating on this ever since I read it. It's fascinating. I believe what this is saying, amongst probably many other things, is that every experience that we have, he says all experiences, every experience that we have has the potential for huge growth, for deep awareness, for our spiritual, basically our spiritual freedom. But it's all measured. It's all dependent on how receptive we are. And so our little cup we have to continue to try to grow it, to do what we can to expand our cup, so that those experiences that come to us, we can use for our transformation. And he says, I will quicken my evolution by consciously condensing all my experiences by the power of concentration. And my interpretation of that is we've got to pay attention. We have to try to pay attention to our experiences and be aware of how much we are willing to receive if we are receptive. And it's not an easy thing, but it's real reassuring to me, because if all experiences are there and can be used in that way, then it's any time that we think about it, any time that we pay attention, we can expand our receptivity and get more from the Guru. We can receive more, because the blessings are always pouring down. We're told, I know we don't experience it this way, but we're told that God's presence is the same all the time, which is just difficult to grasp sometimes. But God's presence is constant. The Guru's presence is constant. So, and our receptivity, is what's kind of goes all over the place. So if we can focus anytime we think about it, anytime that we are able to open our heart and receive more, then more will come. Just like you were talking about right before I came on, the more we put out, the more we focus our concentration on that, the more will come back to us. This, there's a story, most people know the story of Jesus. I don't remember where it is in the Bible, but the story of him being in a crowd, and there's this woman who had a bleeding for a long time and was hoping to be healed. And she touched just the fringe of his garment. She didn't even touch him, but he was in a large crowd, and suddenly she touched him, and Jesus felt it and stopped and said, "Who touched me?" And Peter, all the disciples were there, and Peter is saying, people are touching you all around. There's crowds everywhere, and they're touching and jostling him, and he's having difficulty walking through the crowd because of all the people. So Peter's naturally sort of confused, like, well, there's a lot of people touching you. And Jesus felt this one woman, the touch that she had, or that she reached out to touch, just his garment, not even his physical body. And Jesus said, "But I felt the power go out of me." That's the power from this quote that they was talking about, power to become the sons of God, the power of God, the grace that is flowing through the avatar all the time. And she received it. And it occurred to me, we usually think of that story as just a physical healing. But it's the same, it's the same principle, whether or not you're asking for physical healing or you're asking for anything from the Guru, is you have to receive the power that is coming out of him all the time. And that woman was instantly healed. And all of those other people that were there, I'm sure, there was grace flowing out of Jesus in every direction to every person that was there, but they were all receiving it according to their little cup. And she obviously had a bigger cup, or she had enough focused concentration on that moment to open her heart even more and to receive what it was that was available, that was being given to her. I don't know exactly how it works, but she received it. And the Guru is giving it all the time. There's also a story that some of you may be familiar with. I was looking for it and I couldn't find it, but it was Swami, I think, telling the story of Master. And Master was with the disciples, and he was handing out roses. And I don't remember what the occasion was or anything, but he was offering the disciples each a rose, and he offered it to this woman disciple, and she said, "Oh, I wanted the pink one." Probably very playfully, probably not, we can imagine, being whiny, but my guess is it was lighthearted, and she meant it sort of playfully. "Oh, the pink one's so pretty," or "Pink is my favorite colors." And And what he said to her was, what I give, you take. And it's a really important lesson. You know, of course, it didn't matter which rose she had. He could have easily switched hands and given her a different rose. He was just lovingly giving her, you know, in the moment. But as the avatar does, he took that moment as a teaching moment to remind her that whatever he is giving, that's what we have to receive, whatever it is. And whether it's a rose, or whether it's cancer, or whether it's the death of a loved one, or whether it's the loss of a job, or whether it's, you know, a deposit in the bank, whatever it is, what the guru is offering to us, we take. And the guru only is giving us love. It's all love. That's the power. That's the power that'll help transform us to become the sons of God. And it's all love. It just looks different to us. It just looks like different things, you know, because we're in duality, and, you know, we have that happening in front of us all the time and we don't see it clearly, but it's all love. And that's what will transform us. There's also a quote. There's so many ones. He said in the Promise of Immortality, which is a wonderful book by Swami that expands on a lot of these topics, said to receive Christ means to be aware of him as what might be called the stillness at the heart of stillness. That's an idea to meditate on, the stillness at the heart of stillness. He says that the Christ consciousness is the potential rest point at the center of all conscious vibration. So we know God is stillness. It's why we meditate. It's why we meditate, is to get to stillness. And so we know that God is there, and that's where we can touch into that so much more easily, so much more directly. All of the other practices we can do, which are incredibly helpful, but they're indirect. The chanting and even the pranayams and all the other stuff that we do is all very helpful. But the direct contact is through stillness, is through meditation. And when we get into that stillness, then that's where the transformation can be more direct. That's where the master is. And that's where the grace is that can transform us much more than, you know, chanting a million chants or giving $1 million or all the other things that we can do. If we can get to that heart of the stillness, that's where that transformation can happen. It seems seemingly magically, you know, without even our awareness. And that's what meditation is for, is we tap into that. But all of these other things help support our receptivity. How are we going to receive? And Yogananda said to try it. We know that this is all an experiment. It's everything in yoga is an experiment to see what the results are going to be. And we can experiment with it and work on our receptivity consciously and our attunement. We use the word attunement to sort of mean being in the same vibration as the guru. It's a word that is kind of hard to get your hands on. What does attunement really mean? But receiving in my mind is a little more clear. We want to receive. And if we work on that, it can really, it can be a really good experiment. You can see what happens when you do that. And that can be, I would say, for a short amount of time, just like we work with an affirmation. We say, I'm going to use this affirmation all day today, or I'm going to use it all week or all month. Whatever, I'm going to focus on this chant. I'm going to do, we use all of these tools that Master gives us, and we give a lot of focused energy into it. And that's when we really can see the results. And then it fades, we have to move to a different thing and work on a different part of our life, or using a different tool. But the receiving is something we can also consciously work on, as in the quote, I can quicken my evolution by consciously doing this with concentration of receiving and trying to tap into Christ, Master, the avatars, God's grace, really, really consciously. Am I receiving? Is my heart open? Am I allowing the Master to come in? Am I allowing the Guru to transform me? Which is sometimes can be scary. The ego says, no, what'll that mean? What'll happen?
Do it.
Try it and see. And a lot of it is through our love and devotion, because when we love the Guru, when we love God, when we offer, that opens the heart. Obviously, we know that. We offer, we love somebody, our heart is open to them. So when we open the heart, then the Master can come in, just like in our purification. Open your heart to me, and I will enter and take charge of your life. And it's not, the ego says, wait a minute, hold it. I don't want anybody taking charge of my life. But what's happening is that grace, and that power that the Guru can offer us, that is flowing through him completely, purely, because there's no ego left in the Guru. All he means is that can come in and transform us. That can help us move along in our spiritual evolution. And that spark of divine grace can enter. And then we know what can happen with a spark. A little tiny spark can cause a huge flame of transformation within us. So I encourage you to try to see what receiving, taking what the Guru has to give and being receptive can do for you. And it can be a day, it can be a weekend. I'm going to do this. It can be in this next hour. I am going to really work on having Master right here with me in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every moment, in every thought, and see what happens. I'll stop there.
Well, we'll let you stop there. However, we do want to open this up and receive more, because I know you have a lot to give. So perhaps while you were talking, people were, I know I was identifying with things going on in my life and applying what things you've offered already. So anyone online, you certainly can put comments or a question in the chat, and Mark will relay that, or maybe you even see those, Lorna. But we do have people in person here. We have a live microphone here. I'm wondering if anyone would like to offer either a comment or a question, or just identifying with some things that anything that has come from the ether, the universal consciousness. I'm going to pause here.
Online can also open up their mics. We don't have to.
Yes, they can.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, online people, you can. Mark, I'm sure, has opened that capability now. that you can open your microphones. I saw a thumbs up, so you can open that. If you want to say hi to Lorna, or even introduce yourself if you haven't met her yet. Some of you probably have not yet met Lorna. So I'm going to pause here and let's see.
Somebody has a question or a comment.
I could comment.
Okay.
Would you mind?
Just
And introduce yourself.
Yes, so I go over by the mic.
Yeah, please.
So she can hear you.
So,
Yeah, so she can hear you and see a little bit.
So is this good?
There you go. Just
I
point
can
it
hear
up.
you.
Hi, Lorna.
Hi.
Nice. And I just thought of like when you were talking about attunement, and then you started at the end talking a little bit about attunement, not directly, but like what does like having the master with you, you know, and being with him. And when it comes to attunement, to me, it's like when I want to attune to the guru or the master or any master, I just pretend like they're there, like just talking to them, you know, in my mind, and I can almost kind of feel the vibrations when I look at a picture. That's a way to attune. And just having that conversation. So for people that maybe it's not as clear, that's kind of how I interpret the attunement. And I really do feel like that connection is a lot closer when you can kind of imagine it. You know, with the guru, I can see a picture of Lahiri or Jesus or Yogananda, and I'm like, well, am I talking to you? What do you think I should do? You know, where should I go? You know, and that's kind of. So I just thought of that. It's not really a question or anything, but just to kind of like clarify for attunement.
It's a wonderful comment and a wonderful suggestion. And we all work a little bit differently, you know, about that. But that's why we have the pictures on the wall.
I love that. I buy pictures all the time.
Yes, because we want to make that connection, and here we are in the physical world, and we need any way of figuring out that they're actually here. They're here already. They're always here with us. That's what omnipresence means. But it's just so hard for us to grasp. And when we go into the temple and we see the pictures and we're surrounded by other people who are also thinking about the masters, you can feel the difference. You know that it's different. And then we go out to, you know, the grocery store, and it's harder to do that, but they're still there. And I love the idea of just saying master's with me, and the idea of talking to the guru and asking questions. What do you want me to do here? Well, what do you think about this? Why do you think they said that? You know, what is happening? When we're asking, then that implies that we're ready for an answer. So we're receptive.
Yes.
We're not doing all the talking. We're receiving, which is also why we call meditation, you know, listening to God. Praying, we're talking. In meditation, we're more receptive. So I think that's a wonderful idea. Any way that you can use. Sometimes it's silly, sometimes it's deep and profound, but any way you can use to feel the master's presence. Sister Gyanamata, there's a story in her, she had a flower, she put an orange flower. Master had come into her room at one point, and so she marked the spot where he had been with a bouquet of orange flowers, and she always kept flowers there to remind her that Master had stood there physically right there in that spot. And we don't have that, you know, that Master coming in with us physically, but we can remind ourselves of that. There was a silly way I did that years ago. And if you don't want to stand right there, it's okay if you want to sit down. But if you stand, it's nice to see people. It's nice to see people. But years ago, some people may be familiar with the games, the exercise games that we put out, WII. And I had one that was for exercise, and you know, you can run in place, and you can do things that are sort of interactive with the screen to encourage you to move. And one of the features of that game or that program is these little people that are in it. They I don't know what they call them. In some of the games, they actually call them avatars. But there's these little people, and one of the features my children really loved is you can design these little people. They have you can pick how tall they're going to be and what color they're going to wear, and you can and they really got into this. Well, I was with them one day, and I designed one that looked like Master. So I had this little person on the program that you can choose the skin color and what they're wearing. And so I put them in orange and, had long hair, and I made it look like Master. And so then when you play the game, when you do the exercises, the point of all these little people is you have all these people cheering you on. So if you do a little jogging thing or an exercise, there's all these little people that show up randomly in the program, and they're all saying, "Yeah, you did it. Good job." They're all hopping up and down, bouncing up and down, or running along beside you and saying, "Yay." So I would do the exercise, and in the midst of it, as I'm jogging along the path that I see, Master would pop up and say, "Yay." And I loved it. And so, of course, it made me want to exercise more too. It was like, okay, when is Master going to show up here and lead the game? Because it was a random program. But it's just anything you can do to help you feel Master's presence is going to fill your cup and get it bigger. Absolutely.
Yes. Make your home.
So much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lorna.
Anybody else? Mike?
Here comes someone in our temple.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Mike Wolverton.
Hi, Mike. I remember you.
I remember you. And, I get all the Portland emails and so thrilled to see everything develop, and like
Yeah.
Bob being there and everything. But anyway, enjoying the game of life with Master is what I would call what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
But we have a picture of Yogananda by the lake shrine.
Mhm.
And when I first got my altars, I ordered the pictures of the 5 masters, however big I wanted them. And then I got the big puppy, the big one. And we got the same one over there of Yogananda. And then I took it into a frame shop,
Yeah.
and we picked like an 1.5 inch green felt border. I picked the color, so the frame had to be even bigger. And so I ordered this thing, and then finally it came, and I was so excited. I went to pick it up, and the gentleman there said, "Well, who is that? Is that your grandmother?" So that was my story. But yeah, I really had to say, because it was like, well, yeah, it kind of reminded me about Divine Mother omnipresently being with me, and
Mhm.
it's being attunement, like you said.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
if Master is in some way always there, we all create our own little images of our own little visualizations
Yeah.
around that can help us, meditating with like the crossed feet at the forehead, different things, different people just come up with, and they're all good.
Mhm. They're all
And,
good.
They're all
They're all
good.
good. And we all have our individual way of doing that. Even at we can have the same picture on our altar, and we all are relating to it in a different way, because our relationship with the Guru is unique. And I love the comment of, "Is that your grandmother?" It's amazing how many people look at that photo and see it as feminine, the Divine Mother coming through.
Yeah, of course, I was a lot younger then. But thank you for being here. I'm so glad we were able to reschedule you right away.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Good to see you.
Same here.
Hi,
Anybody else?
Lorna.
Hey,
Lorna, hi there.
Hi, I'm Shreda. I live over in Flower Mound, which you don't know where that is, but it's kind of a trek to go to the Dallas Center for me, especially when my husband's gone. So I was like, oh, I need to hop on online. So I'm really glad I did.
Isn't
This
it
has
nice?
been wonderful. Yes, thank you so much for being here. While you were talking about attunement, I'm thinking to myself, you know, ever since I was little, I was able to have a pretty deep relationship with Heavenly Father. So then, as I found this path, probably 5 years ago now, I more so am like, okay, develop that guru disciple relationship and the divine mother aspect of God. Like I've kind of focused on developing both of those.
Sure.
What I don't tend to do is work on the relationship with the other gurus in the whole line of gurus. So, we have Christmas. So I feel like I've grown closer to Jesus with Christmas and Easter retreats and all of those. But the other three, not that much. So I guess I get torn with developing that relationship with each one versus deepening the others, which I understand it's all coming from the same ray. There's just different rays of the same light. So what do you suggest in terms of that? Like, do you suggest different meditations, different moments, different days of just trying to focus your energy into developing the other relationships, or just what comes naturally?
I think the first thing is don't worry about it. Don't put that on yourself as something, some task you have to do, or some way you have to be an adequate disciple, that you don't feel as close to Yukteswar as you do Master. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
As you said, it's all the same thing. And the longer you're on the path, the more those things, the more it develops, the more you can feel maybe the sort of the different colors, the different rays that are coming through all of them. I think if it's real important to you and you really want to, you think I really want to do this, then yes, then do something like, Thursday is going to be my Yukteswar day, and I'm going to focus on him instead of Master. I'll try to see if I can feel that difference. But I would say mostly work with where your heart is. And if your heart is with Yogananda, or if your heart is with God the Father, that relationship, work on that and deepen that and say, introduce me to these guys. I know they're all yours. I know they're all expressions of the divine, and you've sent them to me. So show me, introduce me, help me to understand the voice of each of these, or what it is that they're trying to give me. Help me to receive what it is that they're all trying to give me. But don't make it another to-do thing. Or, like I said, mostly don't feel inadequate about it. There's just, it's an interesting thing. They're all members of our spiritual family. They're all in the same ray. It's a subtle thing, and I don't think most people grasp it when they first come on the path. I mean, to even have most people, when they find this path, haven't come from even a real deep understanding of what a guru is and what that relationship is. So then to suddenly start working on 5. What are 5 gurus? What is that about? It's not an obvious and easy thing. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. And I think it really comes with time. It's fascinating. There are other people that come on this path that I talk to that have a relationship really strongly with one or the other. Yukteswar may seem odd to some people, but that's what I hear from a lot of people, is that they feel a real close connection with Yukteswar, and they have less of a sense of the other masters. I don't know what that means. I think a lot of it has to do with reincarnation and our former lives as devotees. People who are drawn to this path, Master said, we have been doing this a long time, not just this lifetime, but many lifetimes. So maybe maybe somebody who was a direct disciple of Yukteswar in the past has that connection when they're in this lifetime. I don't know. I don't know how it works. Just keep open. That's all I
Yeah,
can say.
very helpful.
Keep
Thank you.
open.
And what you said about, trying to develop a relationship with all of them, it can seem overwhelming. So I really just tend to go wherever my heart is, and focus on
Yes.
that moment or, relationship. But as we were talking about attunement, I'm thinking, oh, wait, am I supposed to be trying harder with the other ones? Where do I go? I'm a bit of a type A person, but now hearing that, I feel so much better about, yes. And it's so hard to think that we've had these relationships and have been on this path for so long, because you think, oh, well, in this life, this is the first, meeting. And it's hard to think that way. But yeah, that has helped so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for bringing it up. I'm sure it's a question others have had too. Absolutely.
Hi, Lorna, it's Mallory. I've been really looking forward to you being with us. Thank you. Experience with a couple of the other groups. One time I was leading a meditation at Unity in their small chapel, and I was feeling kind of spaced out and not very grounded. So I called on Yukteswar because I see him, my perception is he's very grounded, very structured or something. I don't know, but it was helpful. It was really helpful when I was leading that meditation. And then another time, somebody who was in service with us after service shared with me a message from Babaji.
Wow.
About a friend of mine that I'd been concerned about. So, it just happens.
It does. It's wonderful. Thank you. I can't imagine somebody walking up and saying, got a message from Babaji for you.
It was strange, but I took it. I take it.
Thank you for sharing that.
I have something, sort of a comment and something to explore along these lines. So, we're working to increase our awareness, which will help us with our receptivity. And, we think of circumstances and events like you mentioned, but also realizing that each and every one of us is a channel in some way for another person, and and people can be channels to us. And just that whole idea of being aware of when God is maybe master speaking to us through another person. And I find sometimes on this path, we have this sort of we're all trying to serve so much. And when we don't necessarily, when somebody wants to give to us, we have a hard time receiving or opening to that and realizing that God is working through another person, and so I just wondered if you wanted to expound on that or comment on that more, because I do find that oftentimes we forget that that's a part of the process too, of just being open to receive, through other people.
Through other people. Exactly. There's that, the affirmation, I think it may be the affirmation for truth in Swami's book. I am open to the truth, no matter what garb it wears, I think is what he says. And so it's absolutely true that we have a tendency to see through our little veils of delusion, and we think, either dismissively of somebody maybe that we don't know, that we think is strange or that is so different, or what do they have to give me, or even from our close friends, if they are trying to give something maybe that we are resistant to, and what we're doing is we're closing our heart and we're not allowing God in. And of course, it all goes with discrimination as well. We have to be open to receive, but if people are not being truthful, or they're being hurtful, or they're being, they're trying to convince us of something that we're not ready for, or we don't think is appropriate for us. So a lot of instances where we obviously need to use discrimination and be receptive and yet discriminating. But receiving, this quote from Master is, all experiences are measured in terms of the cup of our receptivity. All experiences with everyone. How receptive are we? What is the Guru trying to give us? And especially through our Guru Bhais, especially through those people who are also in tune with our Master, because they are also trying to be open and receiving and listening and being guided by our Guru. So we should be listening to them. We definitely should be listening and receiving what they have to say. Yeah.
I think that goes back to what you were saying too, is like, something's happening and, we're aware of it because we feel that little bit of resistance, but sometimes we just push that away. It's like, whatever, we shut down. But if we can stop and go, I do feel that little bit of contraction or resistance, and then invite the Guru in, like, Master, what would you do in this situation? Or maybe you can't get the answer right then, but you just pause and don't, it's all about that awareness, right? Just having awareness in the moment to pause and either be able successfully to bring Master into it, have your answer there, or come back to it, but not just dismiss it, or, what I mean? Creating awareness. But anyway, thank you for that. So
my affirmation lately has been, because I've had difficulty with people saying things that I think are hurtful or are just really not helpful, and carrying that around with me and trying to be receptive. This is all God, I have to try to pay attention to what is needed here. And what I've been saying is, I love you, Master, no matter what. And I want to keep my heart open. I want to keep loving the Guru. But whatever it is that's coming, if I don't understand it, if it is hurtful, or if it's confusing, or I'm resistant to, I want to keep that channel of love open. So, okay, no matter what, this is really weird. I don't like this, but I love you, Master, no matter what. And I've found that that's helpful because that channel of love stays open.
It's easy to say, thank you, Divine Mother, that you just put $10,000 into my bank account.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it was, whatever the number was, I'm just going back to, that's an easy one to say thank you. It's easy to say thank you when something beautiful, or, we can feel the beauty in it. And I think I heard you say more than once, in all circumstances.
Yeah.
Guru's there, Divine Mother's there, God is there. So I think training ourselves, like you said, Maitri, when I feel the resistance to, you feel the resistance is the time we've been taught to breathe, to relax. How important is that? Mm-hmm. And to be able to open that flow of, to receive, but also to say to Master. So it's to bring the awareness to Master, to receive his grace in that moment of the things that are not so easy to receive, whether it's a physical thing, an emotional thing, a hurtful thing, or an absolutely beautiful and wonderful thing.
Yeah.
I just love everything you've said, and let's have more discussion. We have a few more minutes. Anyone online or here? Online or here?
I want to say thank you to everybody that's there, whether you spoke up or not, it's fine. We are all great souls. And I just want to encourage you and say thank you for what you're doing, for the channels that you are being in the world. Yogananda is a great avatar. We have 5 great avatars that are flowing through us all the time. And we are changing the consciousness of the planet because that's their mission. That's what they're doing, is they are uplifting and healing and changing the consciousness of this planet, of everybody here. Every single soul is being uplifted because of our gurus. And you are part of that process. You are making that happen because the gurus work through channels. And whether it's through your financial offering, whether it's through your seva, whether it's through your friendships with one another, all of it, you are being a channel for these great gurus. And thank you. I thank all of you for doing that, because that is more important than anything. And you will be transformed because of it. Thank you for inviting me today. I really appreciate being with you.
Thank you, Lorna. We love you. We'll have you back again, I'm sure.
Good. I might see you at the village. We'll see. I might see you for the weekend.
I mean, what is that? A 50-50 or more?
Well, no, I'll probably be there for the weekend, for like the Sevika retreat, and maybe for Sunday. It's going to be a brief visit, but
When is the Sevika retreat?
Sevika retreat is happening on the Saturday right before IRW starts. And
Okay.
it's the Sevika order of
Mhm. So you're going to be there you're going to be there for that through what time?
probably just through Sunday, maybe to Monday. It'll be real short. So when are you landing? When are you going to be there?
Well, we're actually going to be there. We're going to be in California starting on Tuesday, but we're going down to the Bay Area because I don't really have a place to stay in the village. And so we're going to go down to Half Moon Bay to the
Fun.
and visit a few people, guru bhais, and then we'll head back up. And we were thinking Saturday, and then we were thinking maybe Sunday, not sure. But if the carrot on the stick is to see you,
Well, I will. Right now, my plan is to be there Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. So I'll be there on Saturday. I'll be there on Sunday for service and for what's happening.
Where are you staying, if I may ask?
I'm staying at the EL.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let's just keep in touch, and, I definitely want to see you. So thank you. So
Okay.
do we want to do our little goodbye?
Well, let's just for a moment pause and surround Lorna, the entire Portland community in light, in gratitude for all that they offer to each other and to the world, allowing the masters to flow through them, and knowing we too in Texas are a part of that beautiful light of God and gurus. Our mission is really self-realization, that the gurus came with a much bigger world mission, so we allow them to flow through us into the world. Let's chant 3 Oms. I just feel like to share that energy together, gathering the energy in our heart. Let's open that heart center to give, but also to receive. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, Lorna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jai Guru.
Wonderful morning. I
And
wish
let's
I
just.
could just have a cup of tea with you, but.
Yeah. So we'll give our Texas namaste, y'all. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Namaste, y'all.
I love it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.